Welcome back to Epic Conversations. Uh, this episode, we're going to be starting a conversation with retired Marine Corps captain, spent 14 years enlisted, 10 years as an officer, and he's an Epic Life coach. That's Coach Tony Allen. So join Coach Dennis and I as we discuss with Coach Tony about his journey to true masculinity, the power of emotional awareness, and how he learned to transform relationships through the act of forgiveness. Um, this is a three-part conversation. So when this one is done and you still want more, just know it's coming. And so I hope you tune in the following week and the following week after that to see everything that Tony has to say about what it means to rediscover and reclaim masculinity in today's world.
Background looks awful. I try to play around some things. Sorry. Let me take it off.
What's going on, real masculine men? Welcome to Epic Conversations. I'm Coach Dennis, along with Coach Adam. And today we got our special guest, Coach Tony, with the Epic Life Coaching as well. Coach Tony is a prior enlisted Marine Corps captain, serving a total of 24 years, 14 years enlisted, 10 years as an officer in the United States Marine Corps. He has experience as a Charlie Hotel TAC 46 avionics technician, collateral duty inspector, collateral duty quality assurance representative, and an aviation rescue swimmer. He has a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in electrical engineering. So he doesn't only eat crayons, he likes to tinker with stuff. He's got 3 deployments, one in Westpac via the USS Boxer, and 2 deployments to Iraq, supporting Operation Iraqi Freedom 1 and 2. Coach Tony, welcome to the pod, man. How you feeling, brother?
Good morning. Thank you. I can say I'm excited about to be here. Dang, I don't even know how to accept that. I know y'all gonna edit this. I hope you do, because I'm up here like tripping all over myself.
No, I think I'm gonna leave all this in, man. We got to see that the man's enjoying his protein shake after his workout this morning.
Yeah, you're just accentuating the fact you got to take care of your physical domain, man. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm excited to be here, man. I've been looking forward to it. Just seeing you guys do the work. Seeing the previous episodes, like, oh man, that'd be cool if I can get on there one day. And then I got the invitation. I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. I'm excited for it.
All right,
you
man.
guys excuse the background. We're still unpacking and everything else here too. So,
no worries, brother. I mean, we all have chaos in our life. It's just how we display it, right?
Right.
Yeah. No worries. Hey, man. So let's get to it. How about you just tell us about yourself, and then we'll just jump in where we feel it's necessary to ask questions. But like, how'd you get here? How'd you get to really being the masculine you today? Like, you know what? Let's just start with life and times. Where's Tony from? And then how did he get to where he resides today?
Okay. So where I'm from, I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri, born and raised. I was raised to be a 49ers fan, San Francisco 49ers. But then on top of that, too, when we got the Rams, became a Rams fan, too, because the way they raise us in St. Louis is that you're a fan of every team that's here. So I went to pretty much several, like St. Louis Blues hockey games. I went to a lot of St. Louis Cardinals games over in Busch Stadium and things like that, too, right before the old Busch Stadium. Man, whatever, man. It's a whole experience. You go to St. Louis, you got to check out Busch Stadium. If you don't, you're not human. You're a communist. All right. But anyway, is that what else? Is that I went to St. Louis Storm soccer games and things like that, too. That's what I was raised on growing up. And then went to the Marine Corps back in July 99. I just retired last year in September of 2023. And then, after retirement, got with my wife and I said, you know what, I still got to get a job, still got to take care of the family and things like that too. Most of our kids are pretty much like aged. Well, they are all pretty much mostly all graduated from high school except for one. And our baby boy moved with us over here to Mobile, Alabama, and he finished out his last year of school, graduated, and he went off to the Navy. But here we are. I'm in Mobile, Alabama now. Just doing things. I did come over here. I did accept a position as an electrical engineer, senior electrical engineer. And I had a blast there. I learned a lot in terms of, like some things I've never been exposed to before, in terms of like PLCs and things like that as well. programmable. I can't even say it right now. Programmable logic controllers and things like that too, and how they're interfaced. Like to troubleshoot, run automation and things like that as well. Those some things that were very foreign to me, and I could definitely say is that like just even having a small crew of people to manage and things like that too. I had a blast, man. But still filling out my way in terms of how I want to transition and where I want to be at, hang up my head at, in terms of you know employment after I transition out of Marine Corps and things like that too. But one of the things I do love since I've been out, and I want to say I started getting into it in terms of the masculine version of myself, right? When I transitioned over into this, to be more in tune with my emotions, learning how to cry and not feeling weak when I do, and learning how to allow, like the different range of emotions to allow them to be connected to my tears, to allow that to be the true healing that my body needs, my mind needs, seeing a true value in that. That was profound. I know like between us three, we all came from a previous group that, we all pretty much came in relationship in and things like that too. But then we still saw that, we got in like mind together, and we just saw, what, we can see a way to do this work, the masculinity work, but do it differently than the group we originally came from. And I believe that we saw room for improvement in terms for our perspective, and we continue to try to add value to the space because it goes back to, I think, one of our favorite books that we always refer to, The Way of the Superior Man by David Dida, right? And it talks about, I think one of the main gifts one of the main themes in the book that I do love that he talks about is giving our gift of masculinity to the world, not just existing, not just sucking from, from society, not just like eating and consuming everything that's coming our way, but really learning how to give our truest gift to our society. And it's going to grow and change, and you need to grow and change with it in terms of you really connecting with your purpose. And that's how we do it. Right. But I'm thankful for the lessons. I'm thankful for the journey in terms of where I went through, because it was through learning how to be more masculine. I learned how to become a better man overall. I learned how to become a better husband to my wife, how to listen to her better, how to be more patient with her, and how to be more attentive with her. How not to lead out of fear of hurting her
Mm-hmm.
feelings and things like that too, but learning how to really support her. And there's a difference, because I think a lot of us, we can attest to, like at times, like in our past relationships, how sometimes we did actions out of fear, like, oh, I don't want to make her mad, or, she's upset, or, I don't know what to say, and things like that too. Or sometimes you don't care about any of that, and you just like y'all both be blowing up at each other. But instead, when you become more masculine, you get into more of the headspace of knowing how to hold tension and how to hold space and how to be that safe space, not only for her emotions, but also too for your own. And when you're more in tune with your emotions, you can pretty much throttle and decelerate yourself. Like, you know what? No, let me listen to what's going on. Like, how do I need to approach this? How do I need to talk to this? And do I get it right 100% of the time? No, I don't, because we're all human, right? There was
Yeah.
only one perfect man, and that was Jesus Christ. And they killed him for it, right? But
Hey,
anyway.
so let's just pause right there and walk it back a little bit. So you're a junior, 40 years of age, um, and you talked about when you discovered your masculinity. So in that, I would assume that there was a significant amount of time in your life that you were not the masculine you described today. What were you
Right.
like prior to that discovery of the masculinity? Um, let's say within your career, and then within your relationship, and then we'll get back into like where you are today.
Oh, okay. So even in my career, right? I think a textbook, like male Marine, especially male military member, active duty, and also too being a male Marine, is that it was a typical, like, being in shape, going out, killing a gym, killing yourself like physically every single day. It's like you're always intense all the time. And there's pretty much you operate on a basis of my way or the highway,
Mm,
There was some compassion there, but it was I was lying to myself. It was based on a false foundation, just because of the fact of the matter is, I could say it like it was, is that I had some old wounds that I based my definition of love on, and that's what it really goes down to. in terms of my old wounds are how I based my definition of love to, and it goes back to a really powerful book that I think a lot of us read too. It's called The Way We Love, and it talks about your connection theory. You know, no, attachment theory. It talks about attachment theory, and the thing about it is that like me, I based my old definition of love based on how my relationship with my mother was, and how my definition of my relationship with my father was. And I never knew that I had emotional wounds around those things. But it was when I was doing the emotional work and I was using the tools that we were learning how to use, I found out that like, wow, I had wounds that impacted me from when I was a little boy that I never knew I had.
Mm-hmm.
And when I learned how to affirm my inner child and really how to like take time out for him, and it's really learning how to take time out for my emotions and not allowing my emotions to control me when I don't feel respected, right? When I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel happy and when I get disappointed or something that I don't like that's going on. You know, sometimes we have that trigger, that knee jerk response, and we just start like having like a tantrum, an adult temper tantrum, right? But then I learned there's a better way. There was a better way on how to be. There was a better way how to exist. And I could definitely say is that when I learned that, and when I really, and that better way came from affirming my inner child and learning how to like come at peace and forgive my mother and my father, even though I thought I did like long ago, but there was still some things that were rooted and grounded deep down inside that I was still holding against them, and I didn't know I was. But when I
So,
forgave them,
mm-hmm.
truly, man, the relationship I have with my mom and my dad today is like complete 180 in terms of how we talk, how we communicate. And when I went home after I had that reckoning in terms of how to really truly forgive them and affirm my inner child with that relationship with them, is that my mother and my father, I can tell they can sense it
Mm.
because they even changed how they were with me. They changed even that day. And I remember when I flew back home, my dad, he called me up probably within 24 hours of me getting back home. And when he called me son on the phone, it was like he called me son like the way that I think the uh the the young boy that I always was. I always wanted to hear him say son. And he said it.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's like, dang, it was powerful. It hit me. I could tell like the way I've been showing up for my mom and my dad, really with them is transformed them. But I mean, there's still some room for improvement, you know, in terms of how, you know, we talk and how we interact and things like that too. But I can definitely tell you is I learned a healthier way how to be with them. And then from them, I learned how to stop loving conditionally and actually start loving unconditionally. So when certain things do happen in my life between either me and my wife or me and my children and stuff like that, I don't get upset. I just say, okay, you know what? Let's see what's going on here. Let's
Mm-hmm.
unpack this. You know, not trying to turn every like situation to a counseling session, you know, or a coaching session, but just seeing like a masculine man, you learn how to really um inter interject yourself into a
Mm-hmm.
situation. You know how to just stand back and just let the whole situation play out and just see where you need it. See how you need to inject yourself into the situation.
Hey, well, congratulations on leading your parents to a healthy relationship for you guys to where it is receiving or you are receiving the love that you always desired. That's a huge big deal, especially as a grown man with his own family now to understand that that is something that only you need and you desire, but that is healthy for you to father your own kids. So that's awesome. You talked about your own temper tantrum as a man before you found this reckoning within yourself. What did that look like? So other men can kind of draw similarities to maybe where they're at and can transform themselves. So what did that uh, non or less than masculine temper tantrum look like when you were in those places?
All right. So the non masculine or like the temper tantrum would be like, you know, just having like outbursts of like just yelling, you know, like, hey, what are you doing? Or, you know, like, come here, you know, and things like that. And also too, like the demeanor on my face, like how I did my eyebrows and stuff, all that stuff would be there, you know. And I can tell you was that I didn't really know the harm that I was doing to my children, you know,
Mm,
in that, you know, it wasn't like, it wasn't like, it was just, you know, like one of those kind of parents who yelled a lot, you know,
sure.
and things like that too. But I can say growing up, when I grew up in the house, and I started learning this too, is that it's a difference between mom yelling and dad yelling.
Yeah.
Mom, she can yell, she can like, you know, like do this, and that, and everything else, and it doesn't have the same effect on a child as dad yelling and dad coming down, right? And I never read that, but that's something that I internalized and I saw within myself because just talking to my children and seeing like how they say, like when dad start yelling, I just shut down. I just don't do anything. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, cool. When I heard that, it's like, dang, I really got to change, how I'm interacting, how I'm like trying to like course correct with them and things like that too. So, with it being said, is that when I changed that aspect in terms of how I was parenting, and when I had to like really, really start pulling myself back and really start being reserved, and I remember one of my friends um, from high school, we were hanging out with him one time, and I noticed that he was doing the exact same thing I was doing with his kids, because his kids are like probably like 3 or 4 at the time frame, and like he was just yelling at them and things like that too. And I said, like, hey man, I want to tell you this. It's like your kids, like they're still playing and everything. And they're kind of like, they're not really listening to you. You don't think they're listening to you, but they are. And you probably want to dial back in terms of like the anger. Well, not really the anger, but I say like the yelling, because it's going to be more harmful, like going forward. And they're not going to be able to listen to you moving forward, right? When they
Mm-hmm.
get older, they're gonna learn how to shut down. They're gonna learn how like to close you out. And I know you're thinking about, like the way you grew up and like how, like how your mom probably yelled at you, this and that and everything else. And I said it's completely different when it comes from dad. And remember that. I said okay, and I can remember like I think it really hit home with him because it's like, dude, I can definitely say like being around him from time to time is that like I haven't really seen him ever really yell at him like how he was before. And it's like he wasn't like it wasn't like he was just like yelling out of anger or anything else, but it's like you could tell he was yelling out of frustration. Like, man, like, quit doing this or like, all right, man, hey, look. I was because he's a funny dude too, and I just like man, look, you got to pull it back. you know.
All right. Well, that concludes our discussion for today. Tune in next week as we continue with Coach Tony. I know he's going to talk about parenting. He's going to talk about his marriage. He's going to talk about what it means to have a tribe. He's going to talk about more about building routine in his life and developing his emotional intelligence. And that, you know, there's a lot of good stuff here. So tune in. If you're listening in and you're wondering how you can be a part of this group, Epic Life Coaching, you can check us out at on Instagram at the Epic Life Coaching. You can go to our website, theepiclifecoaching.com. From there, you can see how to join the tribe. You can schedule a call with one of us, and many other things. Check out our blog. Check out some testimonies, and stuff like that. I will say that until March 1st, we are running a special. Our next retreat's coming up in April. And if you want to be a part of that retreat and you're not already a part of this tribe, you can sign up prior to March 1st. And you can come out and you can meet Coach Dennis, Coach Tony, myself, and our other coaches, and really be a part of the tribe. But you gotta check it out. You gotta sign up before March 1st. So if that's something you want to do, go to the website, go to that link, and fill that out, or drop a message, drop a comment on this YouTube video, and we'll reach out to you. So let's get this rolling, guys. We got to reclaim masculinity. So be epic.